What store are you at, Nancy?
Mm. I'm in the main office, close enough for all the other guys to shoot me, you know.
All right. Well, I have to come by. Anyway, yes. And hopefully I can just get this person to quit calling me. And no, I don't want to. Other than that, I mean, this is your file print. I don't think you have any questions there. Your grid export we talked about yesterday. This is where they finalize the work orders. This is where the sales department could create a dealer option work order, the customer AR. This Dale Barrett has no outstanding receivables. Just realize that file is usually the Windows type functionality. In our system, as far as IDS, G2 functions are the various functions that they may have here. Customer to pay all internal expenses, yes. Open the doc manager up, just a shortcut versus clicking on that. Email the work order, again, just a shortcut for doing that. Service history, this is all the service history for that VIN number, and which is just a shortcut for doing here. But it's nice because they're within the work order. They don't have to come out of it anymore. In the screen they did here, they're in the work order. They say, God, I know I did that a while back. And it's just a function. I guess that's how you, if you go in training-wise, when you talk to the advisors, you could just word it that way. These are the functions of a work order. GL transaction history, whatever may have been done, whatever hit the GL will be showing up here. And the various functions, set charge hours. I'm not sure if this ever come up, but it's kind of cool. Say, for some reason, it'd probably be AMT would be your closest people that would probably use that quite frequently, where they just want to bill labor. They have time and material jobs, and they just want to charge the customer whatever the actual hours are. So it's a very quick way. It's done job by job. So if I'm in job 1 and I want to bill the hours, I set charge hours and what job I want to do it, and I hit OK, and it charges it. Like right now, charge hours is nothing. And again, if I had more jobs, I would check whichever jobs I wanted to bill, and you click OK. And then theoretically, if I go to actuals and I go to labor, I will see 117. So AMT would probably be, or any of your marinas that do a lot of time and material jobs might use that feature. And most service advisors don't know about it. EDI history, I apologize, I don't know your EDI capabilities. I believe Brunswick is part of them. And then what has happened with that? What have you gotten going so far with any claims that you've sent in? And sort work order we talked about yesterday. If you have a cattywampus of 1, 2, and a couple canned jobs, but you want them all grouped in nice, neat order, and that's a function of that. I'll put this on another screen so I can keep flashing it to you. Navigation, the next item. Next item is navigation purposes, efficiency, open ROs. That's about as fast as you can do it. Double click on it. Again, if you've ever used the old system, it is no longer, that is acceptable. I have not had any advisor have an issue with that kind of speed right there. And do you want to save or changes? Sure. And nope. Okay, and close. Okay, open ROs, complete in the last 25 days. These will fool your people because I would think that you would think that you would put the customer number in here, or that you would put in the, like DeWalt. This DeWalt up here, and you would hit select work orders DeWalt. Well, it's not looking for a customer name. I'm going to hit my home key. It's looking for a customer number. So I whiz in this customer, I hit the home key or double click. Now I type in DeWalt. And I hit search, I find whatever DeWalt that I want, and I'll just pick on Greg DeWalt. And now it's looking for a number, and now I hit select work orders. And I have none for 2737. What was that other guy? He was Gregory DeWalt. Let me do that one more time. This time I'm going to double click. That brings up the screen. Most recent, this is kind of a nice feature. It brings up the most recent items I looked at, but again, my right DeWalt is not there. So go back to here, DeWalt. And it was a Gregory DeWalt that I was looking for. So again, all of these are looking for customer numbers, stock numbers, and now I have all my work orders here, 117 of them. I click select, and I should just see the two for customer number 1653. So I wish we had something like customer number here maybe, but we don't. Same thing with stock number. You double click on that, and it will take you on the same type thing. You're now looking for a stock unit, and then it will find whatever stock number you put in there. It will find all the work orders for that stock number. Tag number, you double click on that, and if you're, they used to, back when I was with y'all, but they would tag the boats at the very front of it with a tag. So if they put in tag XYZ or whatever tag put on that boat, then they come in. And by the way, this is, and hopefully you don't mind me keep referring to the mobile application, but this is a function of the mobile application, which is nice. So in the mobile application, if they're doing a yard walk, they can actually search by tags. So again, I want to find all work orders for XYZ, and there's the one work order for XYZ, and the same thing for manufacturer. What is the manufacturer of the unit? So bottom line, table, 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 and then whatever is on the tag that they put on the unit. As you click on the units, or sorry, the work orders, you see a little preview down here. I'm clicking, but now I'm going to hit the down and up arrow, make sure everyone knows about that. Handy feature. View names. Let me go ahead and expand it a little bit. This is currently the default view. Let's say I want location first. I'm going to left click and hold, drag over. But at this point, I must save it. It does not matter what name I give it, so I'll just give it Mark. And I'll hit save. And now that is saved. That now is the Mark view. I always still have the default view, but now I have actually two Mark views. I also have the Mark view. Again, I'm going to right-click in any open area. Hide show. These are currently all the fields that are not there. Tag would be a very good one to put in here. Special order parts received. And basically, you're seeing this, if your people are using special order processes, it's a very handy field to know that no, not applicable, no special orders were created for that work order. All parts received, or it will say partially received if they got partial. The total number of required hours on a work order, the total number of billed hours on a work orders, jobs done, true or false, appointment date, appointment time. This is actually very handy. I'll check all three of these, and let me get rid of some of these in here so we can see them. I'll get rid of location, stock number, author for now. I just want to get those new fields that we looked at. And customer ID. Okay. These are very handy. This is the external amounts that have been billed to the work order, and these are the external amounts that have been paid to the work order. And it's a grid again. So if I want to sort it, I click here, not here, but here. Oop, dang it. And that's a good example. I did not save it. I apologize. So hide show. You make a change, save that change. I didn't do that on purpose, but it's actually a good thing to show you. And let's uncheck some of this stuff. There we go. Now, save. Okay. So external amount, I clicked on it. It puts the lowest to the highest. I click on it again. It reverses it. And they can easily see if they have billed anything, if they got paid for anything and they didn't bill all of it for some reason. And any outstanding money, like this particular one, has $448 billed to it. They paid $115, but they still owe $333 to it. And again, I would lay you money. Most of your advisors don't know that they can have, and they can have multiple views, obviously. I'm not sure what this Marks 3 is. Just a different view. Now, by the way, this is just so everyone on the call knows, this is a little bit new for me, just to talk, not have interaction. I usually do interaction. So if I should stop and say, do you have any questions, please just somebody beep and say, hey, Bertrand, shut up for a second. I got some questions. Otherwise, I'll keep doing exactly what I'm doing. Okay. Appointment dates and times. This would be coming from the appointment calendar, if there was such an appointment date and time. And filters. Let me go ahead and go back to like this Marinemax Learning account. This is true with anything, accounts payable, anywhere in our system. When you hit a grid, it's going to list the items, and then when you select an item, that is the filter for the item. So the drop-down will be the filter, and you can filter it. So with that being said, the grid can be manipulated by left-clicking and moving to wherever you wish, and then make sure you hit save. It can be manipulated by right-clicking in the hide show, and it can be manipulating by insert column before, basically brings up the hide show again, what's not present in it already. Other than that, you hit save. I want to remove the view. I hit this, so I don't want the Marks view anymore. I get rid of that, but then I retain my other two views. And that, ladies and gentlemen, again, let me get rid of, I want to get rid of filters. I don't know, Excel will basically highlight it. Oh, actually we did. Cool. This wasn't the case. If you notice, this is blue. It used to not be blue, so you couldn't really tell which filters were in place. Now it is telling you. Let me do one more, 2013. Very good. I'm sitting here complimenting ourselves, I'm sorry. Now you can tell what is in place. So it used to be where you couldn't tell, and the only way to get rid of all filters was either figure out which ones had a filter in place or hit the refresh. That still happens. If you hit the refresh, it'll just remove all filters instead of you going one at a time. Cool. Actually, one I haven't tried in a while. Maybe we have something new here. If you have a filter in place, and then you hit save, and then you get rid of filters, we'll go back to default. Now, when I go back to mark, is that filter in place? Now, I would think basically, once you put a filter in place and hit save, would it save that filter? But as you saw, it does not. And that, I'm going to check off G2 Work Order Manager. And navigation is next item, navigation purpose, efficiency, open ROs. I believe I've covered that. The next item on our agenda is the Estimate Manager, so I'm going to close this screen. And unless I closed it the other day, and I didn't. And again, I open that up from Manage Work Orders. And at this point, Update Work Orders and Manage Update Estimates are pretty much for backward compatibility with Blue Screen. Other than that, I believe your users should use the managers, and then when they want to create a new estimate, create on the New button, and that will create a new estimate. So that's the same as hitting that one. If I'm in, and this is the same again in all of our applications. If you go to unclaimed warranty, whatever you're in, if you hit the new piece of paper, it will create the new of the item that you're in or the section that you're in. Same type of table idea. Estimates, again, estimates never really get deleted. They never get canceled. They're there forever. So that's why we have the date reframe there. But it will hold your last date. So if I set this back to January 2014, next time I go into it, it'll be January 2014. So whatever back date your people want to go go-to will always be there. The views functionality is the exact same, total, all this. I want to, here, it's just double-click. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but I have the estimate open. I want to convert it to a work order. It takes whatever. At that point, if you didn't know it, if there's one job on here, and then you convert it to a work order, obviously the work order will have one job. But I come back into the estimate, and I want to add a couple more. It won't allow you. Once it's converted, it stays how it is. It will not let you add to it, which is a protection that has held up in court before. All these are the exact same as the work order. Again, the only truly difference in an estimate versus a work order is the fact that you don't have the capabilities of billing it. Again, our red things mean promise required fields. We don't have as many fields that you guys can manipulate, saying I want this required or not. Like expected promise date, you guys can turn that on or turn that off. But CRM, if you ever when you get involved in that, there's quite a few fields that can be required. But in work orders, we don't have quite as many. I had one dealership like tag. There is no thing, no configuration to make that required. If you are into service, this is actually a field that's very misunderstood. In service date, say the customer bought a boat on January 1st, and 4 days later the steering was loose, something was whatever. And so they said, they brought it in for service and said the steering's loose, and your service department fixes it within 15 minutes saying, I apologize, your steering's efficient, blah, blah. But then they notice a pad is torn or something, and they say, can you fix that too? And they say, sure. But we're going to have to order that from Brunswick, and that might take a while. Is that okay? Or how do you want to take your boat and come back? No, I'll just leave my boat with you, and when you get the seat in, fix it, and then give me a call and pick my boat up. And 2 months later, the seat comes in, and according to what you've communicated with the customer, but the customer is a son of a gun, and so they now go to court saying, hey, I bought a boat, I've only had it for 2 weeks, it's been in the shop for 2 months. Well, if they will put in the in-service date of when the boat was in service again, right here, so they brought it in January 1st, and it was in service January 1st. The customer chose to leave it at the dealership for 2 months because of whatever reason the customer chose to do that. That has held up in court, saying no, the boat was in service immediately. The customer decided to leave it with us. So I discount here. I put 10% in. That will go against all parts, but I always have the discount line here. So right-click, search, and I'll use that one. So again, I put 10% here. It will automatically, actually let me delete that. I will put 10% there. I put 10% here, hit save. Now it's going to take 10% off everything, so hit save. Yep. And I add a part, right-click, part search. Part. It'll automatically take 10% off. If I left that blank, and all parts for all jobs it will do. If I leave that blank and I have a security, then I can go ahead and dictate line by line, 5%, 7%, that sort of thing. So you can globally or by job only, or by part only, can you discount? Category. If you guys ever run across the thing where they said, I want to, our fiberglass shop, I want to track work orders that go through there as a separate, basically department, like parts, service, sales. They could actually, if they had a category, fiberglass shop, then everything on this work order expenses and retail would go to the fiberglass shop. And so if you ever come across that situation, it's most of the work done in there. There's a little bit of work in IT to set the category up, but most of the work done in there is by accounting, setting up all the different GL accounts for labor, parts, extras, to go to this new department that they want to set up to. Right-click. And I haven't seen a lot of people use it. Our demo server has no categories. It would just be a category of fiberglass. Miles, hours, killable, in and out. And I don't think there's much. I apologize for that. Phone ringing. Comments. Any comments typed in here, obviously they're global. But if you all actually should be using it, if you're not using it, you should be, or the service advisors could. Say you have 4 jobs on here, and job 3, watch out for glass under door. Job 5, customer ran aground. Anything you type in here will show on the technician's kiosk, which kind of gives him a heads up of whatever the reason are. The reason you put the 3 and the 5 is so he knows what job it pertains to. So some advisors use comments for communication with the customer, which is obviously good. And some throw any comments pertaining for the technician. They want to give the technician heads up other than fix hole and brow. They actually change it to 1. That'd probably be a good way to do it. In other words, to fix the hole, the customer ran aground, if that pertained to that job. So just realize any in comments does show up when the technician clocks onto a job in Scheduler. And actually, I'll leave that one there. Service contract. Currently, everything is being billed to Sharon, but if you wanted to bill somebody else, or if the service contract, you could bill the service contract. If this is not being filled in, this tab is almost exact duplicate of what is in the finance quote. So if your finance people are filling this in, then this tab will be filled in, and that's a very huge add to your service department. Again, it doesn't ensure a warranty is in place or a service agreement is in place, but it does ensure that one was in place at one time, so they know what it is, contract up, then they can call the service company and say, is this still in place? But if this is blank, you need to work with your finance managers and get that working. Okay, deductible. So again, I went a little bit early on the other one. Sharon Held is the customer, but if I wanted somebody else to pay the deductible, let's just say for argument's sake, this is the service agreement customer or company, and so Sharon is going to pay 50 of it, but Steve Humble Service Agreement Company would pay the rest of it. And what to deduct from? The external. Oh, I'm sorry, 1913. So deduct bill code 1913, $50. She'll pay the deductible, and then Steve Humble Service Agreement Company would pay the rest of it. And again, obviously, I'm in an estimate. All that can be built that way. And I don't, unless there's some questions, I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And I am done with the work order estimate. The only last thing really to do on that one is file and convert to a work order if you wanted to. Let's hop over to unclaimed warranty. Unclaimed warranty is a let me go ahead and open and manage work orders too. And drag it over. So hopefully you can see both screens. Sorry. There you go. Okay. And drag that over. Okay, so we have work order 1058. So I'll come over here, 1058, and click on open. That's what it was doing yesterday. Okay, I can still show it to you. So work order 1058, this job is W. So now let's go back to the right-hand screen. Unclaimed warranty, if you didn't know it, is anything that's been that is flagged as a W, which this job is, and the work order's been finalized. It will not show up over here until they finalize the work order. Once they finalize the work order, it is now over an unclaimed warranty. So let me drag it over. Once it's an unclaimed warranty, it will stay here until they claim it. So theoretically, what this is saying is none of these items are known by the manufacturer. We have 9 work orders out there that the manufacturer has no idea that we want money. Once it's claimed, these are items that we have filed claims with the manufacturers. Let me back up a little bit. It depends on how your people do things. Some warranty advisors will have something and then they will claim it on the manufacturer site and then come here and create the unclaimed warranty. So basically, that's our system is saying, as far as we know, it has not been claimed with the manufacturer yet. So let's go over to Claim Manager. So again, to create a claim, I can go ahead and click on anything I want to and create claim. And that was work order 1058. And it is creating the claim as we speak and fail to execute. Try a different one here. And it, okay. If you ever get that, 9 times out of 10, which theoretically is impossible in our system, that means that you have reached max users. So knowing that that can't be, because there cannot be that many of our people on the system, or at least hopefully that people aren't, I'm going to log off real quick and log back on because I was not able to open that work order earlier. So I apologize. I'm logging off and I'm logging back on. Sweep this. Back to Manage Estimates. Again, as a tidbit, as I did this, if I click on Manage Estimates, or if I click on Manage Unclaimed Warranty, or if I click on Warranty Claims, let me click on Manage Warranty Claims. If I click on any of those 3 managers, it will take me to the same window. It will just take me to a different tab. So let's try again. Okay. Hopefully you have a demo environment that you struggle with sometime, but maybe not. Anyway, I create a claim for it, and I can come in here and put in whatever I wish, and that will move this to claim 1245. I could have put the authorization number here from the manufacturer, but now, if I hit refresh, that went away. I come over here, and I should see a claim. And I would love to see the work order number. So right-click, hide show. Well, then my eyes should have seen the, let me do it again. And this time I'll pay attention. So engine won't start, manufacturer 1026. Create claim, claim number 1246. Engine won't start, should be out of here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come over here, refresh, and my claim is Steve Hummel right here. So anyway, claims either exist unclaimed or claimed. As simple as that. There's no ambiguity there. I don't think that you all allow your warranty people to take the checks. I'm not sure they get copies of the checks. I'll show you the process anyway. So I claimed $94. I get the check, and I come down here, and I claimed $94 in parts. They only allowed me $74 in parts. If you can, watch up here what changes, and claim allowed, and I hit save, and I process my payment, and I wipe out that claim. So claims will stay here until you take payment against it, and that's how you apply a shortage. The grid again will show that to you. You hit refresh. And I lost $20 on that. Other than that is grid. You can export it to Excel. And I'm going to move on from here to our next item, unless there's some questions. The next thing on our item, I've done the estimate manager, work order manager, unclaimed. The next item is our TILREX, AR payments, and view customer history. So let me go ahead and do take AR payments. Hit that one real quick. And I type in the customer number, or I look for it. Actually, I'll just do this one here. Searching capability is the same, last name, exact match. If you didn't know it, let me hit held. If I type in held, and I hit search, I will get everybody that, let me do brown. No, actually my name's better for that. I type in Berggren, and I click on search. Wow, your default view, evidently we have a config set here that's doing exact match. Usually you have to, versus the sounds like. So I'm not sure what yours is set at. Generally speaking, if you type in a name like Berggren, you're going to get Berger, Berggren, Brown, Bra, Bowl, a bunch of different things. But if you only want Berggren, then you hit the exact match and you hit search. So we have the config set that says the default search is exact match. So I'm not sure which one yours is, but you have these two here. The searching down here, the phone number, like right now, this is 4567. Type in 4567, and I will find everywhere that 4567 exists. And I believe I'm going to type in 1234. And we have kind of changed that. It used to be wherever it occurred, but now it is truly the last four numbers. Cool. So let's go back to held. Not held. And I will take this one here. And if she owed any money, I guess, let me go ahead and find a work order they owe us money on. Work order. Manage work orders. Completed work orders. Use my marks view here to see outstanding. So Steve Humble owes me money. And let me get Steve's customer number. So Steve Humble, customer number 1713. And go back to AR Manager. And warranty. Actually, it's in either place. Warranty, or sorry, work order has AR Manager, and warranty has AR manager. We did this in shared tasks. If you didn't know this, let me go to admin real quick to kind of show you that. And user setup, and under roles, and let me just pick on service advisor. Or doesn't really matter. Shared tasks. If you ever want to, these are shared for this role, show it to the parts manager, and it is in the parts manager tab. So like take our AR payments is in warranty, parts, work orders, accounts receivable, many different places. It's a shared task. So that's where roles, if you ever want to, if this was unchecked, then only the AR person would see it because they had it up in accounting. Taking AR payments. So if you didn't know that, that's there. So let me go back to take AR payment, and I've already forgotten Mr. Hummel's number, which is 1713. Service, take AR payment. Again, I could have searched that, but I won't. Did I pull the wrong one? I'm sorry. No. Steve, oh, I'm sorry, 1731. So Steve Hummel owes us this money. We want to give him, he owes us $945. We owe him $945. Oh, he got some fucking things here. Bottom line is, whatever he owes his balance, all his are negative. Here we go. I'll use that one. Say that's what he owes for that work order, $333. But he only wants to pay $200. That's his pay amount. It's kind of like the when you take payments and the payments. What is he paying on that work order? And that would leave $133.69 out there. And accept payment. And Nancy hasn't asked it, but I'm going to find out on it. How do you know? I'm assuming this is going to go to your, I don't know. I will find out this one.
I'm assuming it's going to go to the same printer as anything else.
I would too. There's just no way on God's green earth we shouldn't have a little file up here so you can see exactly what it's going to. We shouldn't have to assume.
We actually have a ticket in for that.
Okay.
Do something. We got that and the PO on. We just got to have it.
Yes. I mean, it's just, I concur totally. Okay, you got the ticket on. That's I do not disagree with you in any way, shape, or form.
Like you said, what if they have an actual receipt printer versus a paper printer? You know, you don't want to have to keep going back and forth.
Right, and that would be one of the beauties of leveraging IT. Let's say that your parts counter and your service counter are close to each other, and you want to print the receipt to the parts receipt printer. If it's network, why shouldn't you be able to?
Mm-hmm.
I concur. So that's how you take a payment. I have no idea where it's going to go. I'll take it back. I'm sorry. In this instance, I do know where it goes. It's going to go to, so AR payment should go here. So if you, because I'm in this routine. Come on. So the work order, still ambiguous. This one is not ambiguous. I'm in the accounts payable routine. Whatever printer finally comes up, it's struggling because I have no printers installed on this demo server, but it will come up, and it will show the printer.
Eventually. Now.
Yes, ma'am.
Now. Boom. Come on. We need to call it. Here, boy.
Or wait for it.
Wait. Wait. It's going to give it to you in just a second. Let me fix that way.
If you didn't know it, theoretically, well, I can't open this either. Theoretically, if I close this, it will close that. But it's not letting me close my AccuTurn window either. This doesn't cause the issue, but sometimes it will resolve the issue by clicking on that X. Obviously, in that case, it's not. Oh, there we go. It's still not letting me close it. Okay. Right-click, Task Manager, and finally, never mind. There it is, finally. Okay. But again, for AR payments at least, whatever I select here, that is where that receipt will go. So cancel.
So your payment, so wherever they take the payments indicates where their payment receipts go, not just one standard place?
Well, again, this is user by user, and I screwed that one up. Let me close it. And we go back to AR payments, and take AR payments, and 1731. So at one time only, whoever this person is logged on, again, this is me, if I come up to here, I won't hit it. If I hit print setup and I select a printer, from that time forth, any accounts receivable payments will go to that printer. That will not impact any other printing associations.
Okay.
Oh, and we actually have been working on that. This last release, they updated a few of them. We're getting more and more where we're using the Windows printer queue to dictate where things will go. Because, again, this will not impact any of the routines by me selecting here. Okay, but again, I will not hit it. That was the AR bill recs. I doubt seriously, but bottom line, depends on security. Theoretically, when I take money and I put in 0 or any amount, I will see things over here. If I didn't take money, go ahead and close it. When they click on, whoever clicks on Reconcile Till, if they took no money, then this would be blank. If it has something in here, i.e. PC93, that means I took something and it's waiting for me to put in a float. I'll put in 0, but I'd put in 150 or whatever my float was, and then it will show what I have done. Same thing here. I do a print setup, and again, this printer could be a different printer than the AR printer because of this routine here. You see this, life is good. You don't see this, life is not good. So hopefully all of our routines will have this routine quickly. And again, just they reconcile their till. The next item is view service history. I showed you service history on the when you're within a work order, but if you're not in a work order and they want to see service history, so this one here, double click on, pulling that stock number. So 1030, and so again, service history, I'm within a work order. I can view, hopefully, get their service history. That's all the service history. Let me just take that many different, let me take that many items of that. So I'm just taking the 25456. I'll leave that open. Go back to G2 Navigator, click on View History by VIN, and I'll just put that many difference in. You have these two choices. Obviously, this will be partial. And then it found the right VIN number, and click OK, and you're seeing the exact duplicate of either. So either place they need to look at it. Obviously, they wouldn't want to open a work order up to see service history. They can look at service history right here. It looks for all three. This just happens to be a chassis number that it found. And that takes care of that one. The next item on the agenda is reporting. Service reports. Hopefully you all know that I'm running service reports But if I was in parts and I went down to reports, it would say run parts reports and accounting reports and so forth. But once you have one of these tasks open, you can always navigate to anything else. So I want to go to parts. I go to parts. I'll go back to service. I go back to service. Marinemax was heavily involved. I'm not sure if anymore, but bottom line, you used to be heavily involved in custom menus. So like custom menu 3 is on our system. That's the item on that set, CM3, and that's CM1. So if you guys still have CM4 and CM7, blah, 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 then they will, any custom report should have came over. This is a very handy feature. Let me go ahead and get rid of that. So, service reports. Most recent items. So let's just say there's, I don't know, 30 reports here. Most of your advisors only run 5, 6, or a few, not all 30 reports. If they hit most recent, they'll always see the most recent, and it doesn't matter what module. It will be the most recent that M.Bergman ran, or that user that's logged on ran in his reports. So very handy feature. Then he can have favorites. So right now I have no favorites, so let's go ahead and go down to the efficiency report. Premise time, this one here. So I want to see their time that's clocked in, 8 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock. I want to see the hours they billed to the work order and how many hours they were working on individual jobs. So I double click, and again, it's our demo server, so I'm going to go back a little bit, make sure I get some data. I want to do it for all mechanics. There's no groups, no totals. I want details. I'm going to go to preview, and I'll hit print. That will bring up this report. And obviously, you have the plus signs if you want to see the report higher. But now I see my premise time, my work order time, my charge time. The cool part is that in the first, two cool parts. One cool part is now in my most recent. Next cool part, I'm going to right-click, which I just did, and I'm going to add it to my list, and now that's going to be a part of my favorites. So again, it doesn't matter where they click this in. If I was in parts, I don't care where I navigate to, where obviously I have security to. But if I run a report, I will always have the ability to right-click on something and add select. Actually, let me just do that real quick. So parts, right-click, add, show favorites, and then whatever reports that I usually run. So once you guys learn about this, if they don't know about it, they will love it, and now that will span everything, and it saves a little bit because most recent will actually get obviously messed up after a while because it just keeps track of your most recent. I believe it's 15 that it keeps track of that you ran, whereas this stays forever. I want to get rid of something. I click on Manage Favorites. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I no longer want the parts report as a favorite. I come here, hit the double click. Just merely double click on it and remove it. If they're really geeky, obviously they can come right in here and double click on it and pick whatever ones they want also. A lot of work with that one, but that one's a very nice one to help them navigate the 70 or 80 or whatever number of reports that we have. Last but not least, let me go ahead and go back to this efficiency one. I actually forgot to show you, I apologize. This is the Crystal Reports View Type printer, which you just saw. This is the Crystal Reports output. Some users like it, some don't. You print that out, and it is a little bit small. I like it, but some don't. If they like the old style of IDS printing, just change it to default printer, and then, or basically old style blue screen printing. They hit this and hit print. It will print, no preview, and it will give them the old style that a lot of people still like. And that is all I have on reports. The next item we talked about a little bit yesterday was G2 service table, CAN jobs, build codes. Let me go to, again, if you can remember this, in admin you have two major functions, security and setup. Well, Can jobs, bill codes, service advisors, or actually can jobs, bill codes have nothing to do with security, so whatever we want must be in setup. Every table we have is up in update tables and codes. So once you get there, you kind of intuitively figure out what department. So right now I want to do can jobs. So I click on service, and then you have maintain can jobs, I believe it's called. Yep, or update can jobs. Click on it, and hopefully you've seen this functionality before. Magnifying glass, list all, that's all the can jobs. If you have anybody, I'm not sure, do you guys have a central person that maintains can jobs for all stores, or do the stores individually take care of can jobs?
We have somebody who takes care of can jobs in the corporate.
Perfect, perfect. That is by far the best way to do it. Okay, so bottom line is that's where you maintain them. Anything you want to change, you can change. But again, any table and code for service is going to be here. Like work order categories, we talked about a little bit in the work order. You hit on work order categories, and the category is easy. You just type in fiberglass. So now I have a fiberglass category description, fiberglass. And then, but here is where all the work is involved, is getting the county to give you those GL accounts for those individual things to make the fiberglass category in a work order go to different places. But net, tables and codes sitting right here. Nothing, a couple things. The labor rate, like warranty is 0. That's because the warranty labor rate is set up within each warranty manufacturer. So you don't need one here. If you did have a labor rate here, you did have warranty, and it did say, whatever, $65. If there was no labor rate within the manufacturer's file, then it would use 65. But if there is a labor rate in the manufacturer file for that particular manufacturer, then it would use that labor rate and ignore this one. So that's 9 times out of 10, this is empty because everyone sets up a labor rate within the individual manufacturers because that's what they pay.
Okay, so here's a question that I got today.
Good.
A user had an item on their work order that was set up as a labor rate of external, changed it to internal, and it modified the labor code, no problem, labor rate on its own. But when they went from external to warranty, it didn't modify, or when they went from warranty to external, it didn't modify. Is there something that prevents that from changing?
Yep. Cool. All right. So let's go to this one here. So this one is external at 115, and try and tab, and I right click and search, and I'll grab lot damage, whatever. And now I go back to labor, and now it's $9. Okay, go back. But we go back to external. And now back to here, and I'm back to 95. I change to W. If I don't do anything, now they put in, if I put in 1653, wow. Search, and we do domestic. So it was 95, it now is. I was thinking that you're able to change W and not change the bill to it because it would have been left at Gregory Walt, and that would have been the reason it wouldn't have changed because there would be no labor rate for it. It won't let you. We go back to E. labor, 95. I change to W. It wipes out the bill code. I guess that would be the first question. User, when you changed it to W, did it wipe out the bill code? If they say yes, and I'll go ahead and double click, and I'll pick Mercury this time. Did you put in a valid manufacturer code? Yes, I did. And it did not change it? No, it did not. I guess that would actually take back the next thing is to say, what did you change it to? I changed it to 1026. Then they would double click on 1026. We would double click on 1026. See what is in there.
Okay, so it could be that the warranty labor rate is the same as the labor rate.
I would bet money on it. That yeah. Because it forced me to change it. I had to select a valid manufacturer warrant or a valid warranty provider. So my bet, either the labor rate says 0 in the manufacturer they changed it to, or it says the same. And as a tidbit, when you create a customer, this is what makes them a warranty provider. So let me go ahead and put that over here. So that's, I double-clicked on 1026, and let me double-click. I can't. All right, but anyway, I double-click on 1026. It brought this up. This has this box checked. Let me double-click on Mr. DeWalt here. It will bring up the exact same screen, but this isn't checked. And again, this is grayed out. So if I wanted Greg DeWalt to be a warranty provider, I click on this and would fill in whatever I wanted to. That is the beauty of huge update. That's probably about 2 years ago, though, where when they used to, when they double-click here in the bill to, they would see all customers, and they have to decipher Mercury or whatever. Now it's only people that have that check. So bottom line, to create a warranty provider, they're still a customer because they're somebody we pay money to. The difference is that box is checked. So, yep, that's my bet. Back to the tables and codes. Bill codes, kind of give you the nickel tour. I don't read how much you want to internal bill codes. And we'll look at lot damage say. Whatever you wish to set up. Most of the function is asking the accounting department. I'd assume almost Marcia would always, I would assume that your accounting department would always set these up, maybe with your help. I don't know. Bottom line is, it's kind of like categories. The major work here is to where in the fire do you want that to go on the P&L account when they use that bill code. Service advisors. The next item on the list is service advisors. That one would be in Configure Scheduler, and that would be service advisors. And list all. And I will click on Mr. Raymond. Really, all you're doing is in here is you're setting up, you're associating his code with his user ID and his email address, which for practical purposes is for the mobile application, and then which technicians he sees by default. I'm not sure if there's anything else there I need to show you. I have the rest of these in the later checkbox. Back to update tables and codes. What else is interesting in here? Admin. I'm not sure if you guys have this or not, but it is by location. So right now I'm in the LMN, so if you're in CW or you're in Fort Myers or whatever, in the update automatic email parameters, you can have any of these set. If you have multiple people, then you separate them by a comma. So when a unit, actually this is probably the most common one, or was the most common one. So I have automatic ROs. When they're created, I want M. Bergman to get an email. Later on, I'll change that. I want another person to get the email. If I double click, that actually makes, I can come into it now. I can put my comma, and I can type in my secondary email address. Obviously, the best thing to do is set up groups called automatic ROs, FT, automatic ROs, CW, and then put those groups in here so you never have to come here. You just populate those auto groups in your Active Directory or something. Otherwise, what you're seeing here would be quite cumbersome, especially when you get 2 or 3 email addresses in there. You only have so much real estate. You can always hit your right arrow to see things, but it gets very cumbersome. So I would create groups by store if you're using these at all. Over here, quiet mode versus non-quiet mode. Quiet mode means just do it. Just send the email. Don't pop up. Don't give me an option to change things. Just send it. And non-quiet mode means launch Outlook, launch the email, allow changes, and allow them to manually send the email, so to speak. So quiet mode, just do it. Non-quiet mode, pop up, and let me make changes to it. Bottom line, the net thing here was in your groups. Port file, we talked about a little bit yesterday. You're used to doing this in 11.3.3 or 11.3.1, I forget, in Blue Screen. This is 11. I forget what it is. Anyway, this is your port file setup in G2. Nothing's changed. It is what it is. Locations, you will never come to locations, I don't think. But that's what it is. Form file, I believe you would probably, bottom line, forms file is where we manipulate. Let's go to sales quotes. Sales quotes down here. Right now that's being PDF. These are fairly cryptic. Pretty much they're either going to be PDF, G2 enhanced, or paper. Safe is for our checks. I'm not sure who did all this, but more than likely you'll have direction from us if you ever have to change the bottom line. Over here, hit the button down, click whatever, and that is saying the forms type is out, and then what department, there must be a doc option to it. So hopefully you get direction from us if you ever touch this. It's kind of cryptic. Nope. This is for your commission screen. This is what's defaulting in when they do the when they cap a sale, and what commissions automatically pop up there. You guys are not a Spader dealer, so you don't have to worry about that tab. Never touch this one. This is your initial when you first go live, so leave that one alone. And this is a new one. This is the again, you probably won't be using this as for our marketing. I'm not sure if you guys are going with our Bronto marketing or you're probably staying with what you have. So we can skip that one. Anything else interesting? This one's kind of cool. If loan processing. Nope. Yes. This is the one, if your finance department, their default. When they do a new item, what bank comes up by default? When they do a used unit, what bank comes up? 9 times out of 10, just as if anybody ever asked you about balloon payments, I think I had it once while I was there. One finance department wanted to do balloon payments, and then you would uncheck that. That way the term would be different than the amortization. Other than that, I'm pretty darn sure it's all set up way back when. This is what's showing on the quotes. Actually, let me do that real quick. Sales, any sales quotes. Double click on any sales quotes. Double click on any sales quotes. Thank you. And so here you have your other taxable items and non-taxable items. Go back to that config. Drag it over a little bit. And drag it over. Oops, there we go. So whatever you put here is what shows up here. So if I wanted to change this verbiage to XYZ, I guess it's a demo server, doesn't matter. I put in XYZ and hit save. And now double click. now say X, Y, Z. So this is your defaults for your quotes. And anything else interesting here? Do you guys use our packages do your salespeople, your F&I people, they do menu selling in finance?
Some, sort of.
Okay. Well,
Their
bottom line,
packages.
this would be your disclaimer that would default in, and where they could display the individual prices. Most finance managers want the prices there, but bottom line is, if you've got to change something in finance, more than likely it's going to be the update configurations for them. What else? Update tables and codes. Disclaimer, package maintenance. That's not really part of this, so I won't go too heavy into it, but I'll just do one. If you ever get involved in package maintenance, it is excellent. Packages are made up of components, which is your first tab, and they're made up of groups, which is your second tab, and then these are your components that you create first, and then like a 100-hour service, I can put that in the green box only, or I can add it to all, or I can get rid of it out of red. Our package component is very easy, and then the disclaimer, you want to discard your changes, okay. If you have disclaimers set up, which very few people do. But I'll get out of that. These calls are mainly for service. So anyway, I guess for service, you're going to be an admin. You're going to be in service. I don't think there's really anything surprising here that you can't take a look at. And I didn't know they had teams over here. This used to be only service schedule only. They added service teams here, so you can add a team here for your PDI and so forth. They're basically used for filtering and service scheduler. And that, any questions I'm going to get out of. I'm not going to go through. The next item on our agenda is the module configs, which we went down pretty much every single one. So I will not go back to that again unless somebody has a question.
No.
And service scheduler setup is the next item. I won't go through this again, unless there's a question. And the next item is basically service scheduler. So in service scheduler, we have job scheduler and schedule jobs. And I'll start to the right and go to the left. So here I have work order 1134. The binoculars does not get found very often, but I click on the binoculars. I have all these different ways to search them, but this first one will give you a criteria. The functionality is the same on all of them, so I'll go to work orders. I'll type in 1134. And a lot of our applications now are built where the intuitive thing is the enter key now. I don't have to click OK, so more and more of our screens, if it's intuitive to hit the enter key, it will allow it. So I hit the enter key. Again, it's intuitive. I hit my enter key again, so I hit my enter key. I'm just showing you that because sometimes people get frustrated. I don't want to use my mouse all the time. I sure like to be able to use my enter key again. Well, a lot of instances, they can use their enter key again. They just have to learn where they at. Here, that's bringing up all the items for work order 1134, where they're at with are they scheduled to a technician and so forth. Mark has completed this one. I can unschedule. Someone's getting the bottom of their Coke. So you can unschedule all your items here. You can hit refresh.
Sorry about that. I thought you guys were muted.
I don't know. I was getting thirsty there. The cool part here is I can actually go ahead and click on any of these items, and then that will just take me to that item. So if that's buried deep somewhere, that can deep it. So make sure everybody knows about these. They all work the same. It's just once you put in the criteria, then it looks it up. Over one, appointment calendar. That will free your appointment calendar. I always advise everybody and their brother to keep that open all day long. Kind of, try to hide that. here? Well, hit my little pin. Okay. One of the main things when you first set somebody up that's going to throw them, they're going to say, why don't I see anything? In this instance, because I'm filtered on Mark Berger, and that's the default application. 9 times out of 10, most everyone likes to see everything. They must hit apply. Now I see everything. So that's one of the main things on a new user. You'll get that phone call if you don't change that for them. And then they must hit save. And then that way, their default setting now is all versus an individual user. So up here, show all appointments. And nope, I only want to see service appointments. Nope, I only want to see delivery appointments. Delivery appointments are in brown, the color brown. The ones that are red is because they're past due, and of course this is the 11th, and it's past 10:45 a.m. If you hold your mouse, you can see all jobs that are on that delivery appointment. If you go back to all appointments. Here, again, as we talked about a little bit yesterday, pink is an appointment with no work order or estimate. Aqua is an appointment with work orders, and gray would be an appointment with a estimate rating against it. I right-click on it, and we see no estimate numbers, but we do see the complaints at the bottom of that little drop-down. And if I right-click on it, I can do whatever I want to. So this is kind of nifty what we added to this. That was probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Is to, again, this is rarely ever going to be used. It's going to be this one here. So convert to work order and schedule. So not only it's going to create a work order, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but it will drop me down. Wow, try it again. I was expecting it to drop me down, so let me go ahead and do a different one here. Right-click, convert to work order and schedule. It should convert it to a work order. There you go. I'm not sure why the other one didn't. It should take you to that work order it just converted to and allow you to schedule it. Back to the appointment calendar. I want to see 1 day. I see 1 day. I want to see 10 days. I see 10 days. I want to see a little bit less of this. So put my cursor till it goes to the weird thing there and drag it up. I can see more of the bottom and see less of the calendar. And obviously you can do the opposite. Take it down, and I can see more of the calendar, or take it about the center where the default is. I change appointments, merely by dragging it. If you do that to and again, it's depending on your security, and this is one you should test, is when I change it from here to here, whoever received the original work order notification should get a notification of that change. Nobody else, but when you create a work order in your system, if you have the alerts turned on to where X amount of people get a email when delivery work orders are created, when you change that delivery, then that same group will get that email that has been changed from the 10th to the 11th. One thing we are working on, this one's at 3 o'clock on Monday. Let me drag it down here. It's still 3 o'clock. We don't have the time thing. I guess we're doing a user acceptance on that. Just do people all in all want the time thing to come up every time, or is that an irritant? But right now, you drag it from one to the other. It remains the time, or the time remains the same, and then you would just come up here and change it to wherever you want to. And hit save. And now it's at 4 p.m. If you ever have the case where your appointments are being created, but they don't know the delivery date, and it's confusing, a lot of best practices have been schedule them on Sunday, because I'm assuming y'all are still closed for deliveries on Sunday. So a best practice has been, if you do not know if at the time of sale or the time of the work order creation, it's still up in the air when the customer wants to take delivery of the unit, to schedule that delivery for a Sunday. That way, service knows anything on Sunday is tentatively going that week, but the date has not been determined when they really want it to go that way, which is kind of nice. So the advisor comes in on Monday, he looks at anything scheduled on Sunday, and realizes that more than likely they're going to come one of these days, and he can check whoever he wants to. But at least it keeps it away from putting it on one of these days. And like right here, if Waldorf was supposed to go this week, but he didn't know when, so we don't know if Waldorf is a real date or a fake date. You put it on Sunday, we know it's going this week. We know at least know it's a fake date. So just realize you can schedule to a shop close if you need to, for whatever reasons you need to. Rider dashboard. I've never had a request on this one, and I wish I did. Let me go to all, save. This is kind of a key performance indicator. Again, it could be by by advisor. But if you guys ever find something in here, you say, our service advisor would love to see this as a snapshot. I like this down here. To me, it's perfect. Anyway, that's what the dashboard is for, is to kind of give them a snapshot of where they're currently at. In this instance, I changed it to all, and that's where it's at. Here, you have 3 views. This one I call the load leveler view as it comes up with all of the mechanics. Thank you very much. And you can pretty much do everything that you could in Scheduler. Bruce has no work. I can drag it over to Bruce. And now that is off of AJ, and Bruce has that work. That's it's only next available time. If I wanted to change it to a fixed job, then I would right-click on it, click on Start Time, and then that would make it a fixed job. Make sure, darn sure, anybody new you hire, they understand that fixed jobs are for purposes, and next available are for purposes. Neither one's better. Neither one's a best practice to use one or another. They have different purposes. Like here, haul boat. That would more than likely be a fixed job. Haul the boat at 10 o'clock on Saturday morning, or launch the boat at 10 o'clock on Saturday morning, or the customer arranges to have their oil changed at 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon. Anytime a time is specifically arranged for something to do, that's a fixed time job. Anytime that the work order just needs to be done within a timely manner, that's the next available job. So neither one's better than the other for that purposes. I can split. So this is a 1-hour job. So I can right-click on it, and I'll split labor. It defaults to 50-50, but I can change this to whatever I wish to. I'll leave it 50-50. And now, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I too have 2 1/2-hour jobs, and I can give that job to Chris. At any time, I get confused. I have no idea who has what. I can go to unschedule. So say I did that several times. I can go to unschedule. I can unschedule just this one labor line, which is now a 1/2 hour, or the job with all labor lines, or shoot fire, just get rid of the whole work order. So this mechanic only, which is Bruce, or unschedule all. So in this instance, I don't care where that work order is scheduled. I want it unscheduled, and it's still here. Let me get refresh. Oh, come on, don't embarrass me. Please be out of this. I'll drink the bottom of my coat. And good, it's out of there. So a little bit of we call that something unexpected happened. The bottom line is I was in Bruce, and I unscheduled it, immediately went out of him and refreshed, but it didn't refresh for Chris until I actually hit refresh. Let me right-click again. Right-click, set time. Obviously, that's start time. We just covered that one. We covered that one, split labor code. Change labor code. I don't know very often when they would change that this way. They would usually go in the work order. Take it back. They can't. That's when they would use it. You cannot change the labor code to something different within the work order when it's scheduled. You would have to unschedule it, then change the labor code, and then reschedule it. Whereas here, and list all, currently it's, let me try again. Search labor code. Search labor code. Description. Coil. So if they need to, again, then I have a rare to use it, but if they need to change the labor code on something, they cannot do it in a work order while it's scheduled, but they can do it here. And the labor code is now changed. Right-click again. This is interesting. Bottom paints would happen quite a bit. For argument's sake, let's say this is a 14-hour job. And obviously bottom paints, you paint and wait and so forth. Well, you could take this 14-hour job and change it to half hour. So the job's still 14 hours, but the real estate on the screen or the real estate when they look in their kiosk is only a half hour. They can still clock in and clock out or pause this job as many times as they need to, just like if it was 14 hours. How can I say it better? This just takes up less real estate on the screen. 14 hours would fill up 2 days of the technicians. He couldn't see anything for the next 2 days other than that paint job. So by giving the ability to adjust duration, they can shorten the amount of real estate the job is taking up on the kiosk or in this view, but it still leaves it 14 hours chargeable. So I'll just, right here, it was a .25 job. I just put it to 50, so now it's going to take up twice as much real estate on the screen, but it's still .25. View shop work order. So I'm in 1218, and I click on view shop work order, and that will bring up the work order. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you see the work order. And that is about it. Drag and drop from there to there. You see the hours are scheduled for today, the actual hours they worked for today, and the actual hours they have billed for today. So AJ is scheduled 16 hours, and the boy is lazy. He has not worked one bit. This one is not as pretty, but it's still nice. This is showing your weekly view of your technicians. Sunday through Saturday is our week, and you can change the week however you wish to, or they wish to. And you'll see how many hours they've got for that week, how many actually hours billed, scheduled, and unscheduled. You kind of get a handle on what they're doing with the technicians. This one is nice for the reason it's just strictly a bar graph. It is strictly a bar graph that will come up, and I hope it will. It's not that dramatic to take. There we go. What it's going to show you is, again, you kind of use the key down here. This is how many hours are scheduled. This is how many hours scheduled. It's based on your shop calendar. So if your shop has 5 technicians and they all work 8 hours a day, then your day would be 40 hours, and you'll see the split there. As they work, it will turn to blue. So yesterday, they worked actually a big 2 hours. And so it's a very nice graph to see. They can go back again and go to previous months and see how they utilize Scheduler. So all 3 are good. This is probably the most common one. Load-level view is you really want to encourage the guys, before you go home at 4 o'clock at night, look at this. If Bruce does not have any work, then you're forcing Bruce to come to you and say, what do you got for me today? Give him at least an hour or 2 hours worth of work so Bruce has something to do without coming to you. The one careful thing, though, if you notice, they all stay open. So that one I would close. That one, I would close. And that one I would close. Of course, they have Windows 10. It's a lot easier to close all these things. And that one I close. And everything else will be open. What else in here? Skill set. I don't know what we have, so I'll just hit body paint. Bottom line, any jobs that have the skill set body paint with, okay, there you go. These jobs have skill set of body paint with them. I'll lay you dollars to donuts. They're underutilizing the skill sets. One of the main things they always say, I know my mechanics, I don't need to put skill sets in the job. But the dealerships that don't know any better and they assign skill sets, that's just how they were trained. They were all new or something. Get them to use skill sets. It's a handy feature. So the guy that does body paint walks up and says, hey, I got all my work done. You got any work for me? Hit filter. Yeah, I do. I was going to give this to somebody else, but I'll give it to you. Service team, if you guys ever had the reasoning to have things separated, had some big dealerships in the Fort Myers area that had huge PDI teams, external teams, and that way you would only see jobs, and we have no mechanics that are associated with that one. We go to PDI, and Chris is the only member of the PDI team, but I would only see technicians here. It really helps in where you got a lot of mechanics, and it takes a long time for this view to come up. If a particular service advisor only needs to see 4, because that's who he works with, well, if you have teams set up, it's very quick to come up because he only sees 4 instead of all 20 technicians at a dealership, and then he filters. So teams are a good use. And again, that's set up in update tables and codes under service, as we saw. And that is it. I'm going to actually go back to all for a second. Usually it's only newer, or sorry, oh well. Give it a second here. I was going to show you the printing routine for this. They ask for it, but they really don't need to be able to print the calendar. But the functionality is there. Click on Quick Print. Wow. That's changed. That used to be where you hit that button and it would give you a preview window, and as you can see by that message, send documents directly to the default printer. Basically, it just prints a line item like that, right there. By the way, that's how you go back and forth. I want to go back to Mechanics Scheduler, I click right here. I want to go back to the data view, I click here. So once you have moments, it's a very, very quick way of going back and forth. You just have to hit refresh every now and then. Okay, I'm going to get out of here unless there's any questions. I'm going to go to Service Scheduler. So that's the top half of this screen. Here, we'll start top to bottom. This is your default work order estimate. I want to go to customer. I see it in an alphabetical order. I go to age. I see in the age of creation. I see in bill type, IEW. I hit priority. We talked a little bit about yesterday. If they hit priority, it'll hit a 1, it's a red arrow. If any work orders are low, which is number 3, it's a blue arrow. Promise date, what they have overdue, is past the promise date, in this instance, 152 hours. What's promised in the next 7 days is 50, 8 to 14 days is 0, and over 14 days. And no promise date at all, 51 hours. Again, the advantage here is if you know that you have 5 technicians, they work 8 hours a day, that's 40 hours a day, they work 5 days a week, that's 200 a week. If this says next 7 days, 190, then more than likely they can't promise somebody to do the work in the next 7 days because they already have 190 scheduled. If this says 110, then they could promise somebody. So basically, it's most time we just say it's going to be 4 weeks or it's going to be 2 weeks before we can do something. Whereas this can kind of give you an educated example. That's why you make promise dates required, so that there are dates in here versus having most of your time, or like in the demo server here, most of them with no promise dates. So you have no information. Okay. Skill set, again, that's your different skill sets. So you, again, the example, the technician walks up, says, I'm all out of work. Can you give me something to do? And actually, again, as we talked about yesterday, you don't even have to schedule work order 1165. You can say, yep, hey, do me a favor, go pull up work order 1165 is not scheduled. Go ahead and click on not scheduled. and work on job 1022. And actually, let me go ahead and just take a second and show that to you. So again, 1165, 1022, I'm not going to schedule it to Bruce. So now I'm going to put Bruce's hat on. Go ahead and close all my windows, if you have to. And are you sure? Yes. So log on to a job. Bruce. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can buy, if you have to buy more kiosks for your technicians or monitors, buy the touch screen. It really makes a big difference. I didn't actually think it made that big a difference, but the dealerships I've gone to where the kiosks have touch screen, the technicians really use it. Okay. So Bruce has no work here. I told him to go to 1165, so he clicks over here in that button. I'm sorry. This is the most common one, work order number. So 1165, click OK. Whatever jobs are available to him to click on. I told him to work on 1021. He clicks on it, and then he comes right into the normal screen, and he's clocked into it as if it was already scheduled to him. And if you remember, earlier I talked about comments in the work order, flagging word items here. That's where it would show up right here. And if there were more comments than this box could hold or display, then there would be a scroll bar here. So the ability to clock in to unscheduled jobs is tremendous. Exit. And close. And yeah. Go back to scheduled jobs. So it's a good thing that y'all are muted because that makes it nice and no one interrupts anybody else. But I got to tell you, it's dead silence on my side. I do see some people still.
We're over here. We just know that you're recording, so we're trying to be polite.
All right. But truly, is anybody going yawning and saying this guy's boring as fire? Anyway, never mind.
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay, I'll keep on. Status. Ooh, skill set. Status is here. And again, if somebody would really get involved in this one, I'd love to know better processes for it. I struggle with it. Is when you schedule a job to a technician, and he goes so far. Let's use parts, for example. The functionality is all the same. And you schedule him. He puts the job on hold because of parts. It does not show here. If they unschedule it, then it will show here. So the thinking is when a technician does a job, he gets so far, he has to stop the job because he needs parts. If the job is going to, if the parts are going to be in within 24 hours, don't unschedule it because the parts will be here tomorrow. If the parts are going to be longer than 24 hours, then do unschedule it, and then it's accountable. Otherwise, Reggie here could have 16 jobs on hold because of parts, and no one would really know it unless they went into Reggie and started looking, why do you have so many jobs that are held up? Why aren't these work orders being completed? So it's you discuss it with the service managers, but bottom line, I guess just realize this. Nothing shows up here till after it's been scheduled and then put on pause by a technician and then unscheduled. And I don't know a better solution for it because what you're seeing, let me click on Bruce. What you're seeing here is items that are unscheduled, items that are scheduled. They two do not touch. If things showed up here that were scheduled, then that would throw the whole process in disarray. So I don't know a good process, better process than we're doing right now. Just realize in statuses, last time, and I will say it again, the only things that will show up here are jobs that were scheduled to a technician, he worked on them, and then he put them on hold for one of these reasons, and then the job was unscheduled, then it will show up here. Okay. Bill type, pretty much the same as the top one, internal, external, but again, it's by stock number. And total hours, I don't know a real difference on this one. I think they just threw it in there. But hopefully you see the fact that they are instantaneous when you click on these filters, And once they understand, this one's dynamite, age is dynamite, priority is dynamite, promise date's dynamite. If they use skill sets, and the rest of them are kind of so-so. So 1, 2, 3, 6 of them are very, 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 very useful. Kind of quick here, obviously. Very blah looking at the screen here. Let me go to admin and setup, scheduler, mechanics, Mr. BB. If you don't do this, I would do it. Load photo. That's how hard it is. Whatever. It doesn't really matter what size it is. Our system is designed to resize it. And you have, once you hit refresh, you have the photos. So again, let me go down here. Every bit of functionality that I showed you in the daily view is a mimic of this functionality. So I'm going to right-click, and that screen here is everything I just showed you in the daily view. You can also do it here. But here, you're doing it by individual tech. It's just a matter of where you're at the time, I guess, where the best place to do it is. But you have the exact same technicians, manipulation, functionality in this view or in this view. So I'm going to unschedule this, or take it back. I'm going to clock out first for him. I'll put it unfinished. It always defaults to 1 minute after. It does not want to assume, because you have the ability, if he told you, hey, I forgot to clock out at 2 o'clock, and it's now 4 o'clock, you could put that 2 o'clock for him if you were so inclined. So the default is always 1 minute after the clock-in time. Okay. So right now, I have, click on Reggie. There we go. Reggie here. Okay, just as a quick thing, I'm sure you all know it, but if I click on, there you go. If I drag over this job to Reggie, then that will assign that job, but nothing else within work order 1165. If I click on the job, then I schedule that to Reggie, then all 4 jobs will go to Reggie. If I click on the work order, all jobs and all labor lines will go to Reggie. So as small as you want to go or large you want to go. A good best practice, if this was 14 jobs and only job 4, well, let me do it. So I'm going to grab this one here. Let's pretend that that's 14 jobs. I'm going to give that to Reggie. So I've got 14 jobs. It's easier to schedule the entire work order to Reggie. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then unschedule job 1081. So I look for job 1081. Let me go to 5 days. Because obviously it's gone over just today. And so here's job 1081. I'm right-clicking on it, unschedule the job, which has been very, very helpful for the advisors. They struggle with that. Otherwise, they got to drag 1 job at a time. They'd have to drag 13 jobs individually to get it to a technician versus grabbing all 14 jobs in one fell swoop and then unscheduling the 1 or 2 jobs that the technician doesn't need. Again, they are all next available. Let me go ahead and right-click and unschedule the whole work order. And again, that goes to premise, it's either over here or over there. And we go back to 1165. That doesn't matter. For that one. And if I go here, I want it to be on 4 o'clock on Wednesday. Once they get good at it, they hit it pretty darn close. And that will bring up the clock saying, wow, 4 a.m. Okay. I'll leave it, whatever. But whatever, once they get good at it, they will hit the time fairly decently. And now he is working at 4 a.m. in the morning. I covered all that, so I won't. Oh, I know what I want you to cover. So let me go ahead and do this one at 4. Right here. So this one is going to be at 4:15, or yep. If they ever needed to, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They have 2 jobs that they're messing with, and they find out that they want this job done after that job. Another way of doing that is highlighting the job they want to change, moving it down. Hopefully you see a red line underneath that job I moved it down to, and when I release it, it's going to put job 4 where the other job was at, except you can't do it in a fixed job. That's right. We fixed it. Let me show you on the next available job how you do that. So here, job 1022. Job 1022. Okay. Let me grab another job here and go to Reggie. Down here. By the way, automatically, if you haven't noticed it automatically reassorts it. It puts the technician most booked up at the bottom and puts the technician most available at top. Okay, hopefully I will see a couple of jobs here that are not fixed jobs. And when I want to swap those jobs, it will there we go. Okay. So I have job 1022, 1023. I want to swap 1022 and 1023. Left click and hold. Go over the job I want to swap it with. It turns red. And now job 1023 should be on top. Job 1022 should be on the bottom. If all is right with the world. And 1023 is at the bottom. So again, highlight the one you want to change, drag it to the one that you want to swap it with, and it turns red. I talked about this a little bit yesterday, but something happened and didn't work properly. But I'm in Reggie, and I am waiting for it to refresh. I'm going to click on exceptions, and again, you probably can't see it. I can't see it. You have all day, and actually that one's the all day one. So he has a vacation or school or something, or sick. And he was sick all day today, or he's sick all day tomorrow, and then update. And now any hours that he has scheduled are now going to, I clicked on it again, now are going to get bumped to the next day. And obviously this is nice for year-end reviews. They can see how many hours people have called in sick and so forth. Very easy way of exceptions. And I actually don't have anything. You have the one-day view, which allows you to change things back and forth. That's right. The one-day view brings up the calendar, so you go to one day. So right now I am on October 13th, I believe, or 12th I selected. I want to go back to today real quick. I just click on today. That will take me back to October 11th. I can manipulate things in the one-day view. I can manipulate things, as you saw, in the 5-day view, but in the 7 and the 31-day views, unless they've changed it, so I'm going to try it first. Is that good? You used not to be able to do it. Yes, you can. Hit cancel. Let me do it one more time. I'm on October 13th. I want to move that job to today. Left click and hold. No, it's not working. Yes, you can see, but you can't touch in both the 7-day and the 31-day views. The reason that they're handy, though, even though you can't change them, is because I can still manipulate. So I go to AJ, and I will see the exact same view for AJ. So if I want to see something out further in advance for some reason, I can easily click on my technicians and see what they are for the month. And just to make sure I can't change it, because I'm always curious when they do things. Yeah, I can't drag it. But bottom line is there's still two good views for that purpose. And that is unscheduled labor and scheduling labor. I have nothing else to show unless you have a question. That covered job scheduler tasks. Let me drag this over for a second. So kind of look at this, what you're seeing now, and see if I'm missing anything. Right now I covered the job scheduler task, how to view their schedule, how to schedule labor, how to unschedule labor, how to split labor, the right-click options. We're right-clicking and got those menus, the colors, what they meant. I did this yesterday, the G2 work order. I'll do it again real quick. That one said G2 estimates work orders when scheduling. Oop. And service, and work orders. And 1245, no, we're in 1247. One of the biggest reasons, okay, labor, okay, job 12, work order 1247, job 1, no labor line. Job 1247, steering loose, it still shows up here. Okay. The key here is we have a config set. I'm not sure if you do or not, but the config says show jobs in scheduler even though there's no labor code. Now let me add a labor code. Actually, let me go ahead and take it back. I'm sorry. Let me go back here real quick to see what you're seeing. So right now we're seeing diag and buys. Work order. Oops, sorry. Home key. Oops, don't want that. AC. Whatever. And I'll pick that labor code. That's okay. And hit save. Now I have a labor code in there. And hit refresh. Take the elevator down. And I have that labor code in there now. The biggest fault that when people ask you, why isn't it showing up in scheduler? I have the job, it's not showing in scheduler. It's because they assign a mechanic. So for what? And again, they get this warning too. They still actually we didn't used to have this warning message, but this says add a mechanic that will not show. So for whatever reason, they add the mechanic here. Usually it's your newer people, but sometimes it catches your older people too. So again, this job is one we're looking at, job 1. Let me hit refresh. Get the elevator down. And that steering job's not there. So that is the number one reason, if you have a config set, if you have the config set to show jobs, even though they don't have a labor line, the number one reason that it doesn't show in scheduler is because they accidentally assigned the mechanic when they created the labor line. And basically, as you understand the reason, I'm saying I don't need scheduler. I want Kurt to do this job. I already gave it to Kurt. I don't need scheduler to do anything. So, again, let me go ahead and get rid of that. And little time saver we have here is when they do assign something, I'm in job 1, and if I go to job info, if you notice, schedule job is grayed out. Hit save. I click on job 1, it's lit up. It is a nice saver. You click on that job, it will take you right to that job itself. You have to hit arrow up a little bit, and you can schedule a job or the work orders. But you can go direct. It just saves you a click or two to come directly here. But I think that's nifty. And okay, I'm going to move on to how to review change labor. How to review change labor. I want to change something. So let me go to labor. And I'm going to go to actuals. Let me go to required first. So this labor code has this in it. Once I highlight it, if I type any key, let me hit the letter G. It wipes out everything. Get out of it and go back into it. Hit cancel. But if I go into that labor line and I click on it, I double click on it. Okay. Wow. That's odd. Okay. I'm double clicking on it, and maybe it'd be the RDP section I'm on, but the highlighting should go away. I got one here too. Okay. I'm going to double click on it. If I hit letter G now, it's going to wipe out that with the letter G in there. If I double click on it, I want my at the end. It's not. So if I want to edit this labor line, highlight the labor line, I'm hitting the F2 key, and that will put me at the end, and that way I can add to it. So I'm not sure if it's an RDP issue. It used to be, unless things have changed, it used to be you double click, and that did the same thing as the F2 key. So as of this discussion, with the functionality I'm seeing right now, if I want to add to this without wiping it out, merely hit the F2, put my cursor at the end, and then add whatever I want to add. To change labor rate, I can change the labor rate. To change the hours. So that's the item on our agenda, but that's how you change it. So right now I have no mechanic here. I will hit actual. And then I will put Kevin or KB here. Hit tab, T for today, and we'll just suck in whatever I changed it to, and you can change it. Our next move is to the technician screen. Let me hit save here. So actually, let me go ahead and schedule that. So go ahead and here, job 1, and schedule. I am going to give this to, I'll give the whole work order to him. Give the whole work order to Bruce. The next item on our agenda is the technician screen. Actually, everything. Okay, good. Close, and log on to a job. Bruce. 1, 2, 3, 4. A couple things here. This particular job that is in orange is paused. So I hit one of the pause buttons. Let me clock into it. And now clocked into it. So now it is yellow, meaning in progress. If I clock out of it again, I have these choices, these 4 choices: on hold parts, on sublet, hold, hold. So these 3 are hold. This one's a pause. The difference here is I'm now going to put this, if you can remember, job work order 1165, job 1021. I'm going to put it on hold, parts hold. Where in the fire did it go? Why is it not there? We actually decided, okay, 1, 2, 3, you have 5 stickies, electronic stickies, feeling sticks, so to speak, showing. So we were trying to conserve real estate. So when the technician puts it on hold, he knows he put it on hold. If he ever wants to see those, he can come down here and click on Show on Hold, and then he'll see his jobs he holds, and they can hide them. It was strictly a way of allowing the technician to see more without having to use the scroll buttons up here. So any of the 3 holds can be toggled on and off with this button. And let me go back to hold again. Now I have so many holds, but I don't want schedule mix. I can go ahead and hide schedule. Once the technicians understand these 3 buttons, they're very intuitive and they love them. They work well. Paused, I have no pause, so that shows nothing. So again, clock in. Will they hit, and clock out. Will they hit the wrong button? Yes, they will. It really, but the bottom line, just make sure everybody understands, it doesn't truly hurt anything, so to speak. It stops the clock. That's what on hold does, or paused. If they hit the wrong button, it just puts the wrong status to it. So you encourage them, please, hit the right button, obviously, but if you do it, don't stop what you're doing and come up to the front and say, hey, I hit the wrong button, please fix it for me. Just go on and change it. It's not worth changing it. The only one that can really hit badly is labor complete. If they hit labor complete, actually, I'll go to that in a second. I'll just kind of continue here. This is your cause and correction. And as we talked about yesterday, if they hit choose cause, then they can click on one button and have a ton of documents in here. They choose correction. So if somebody does your technicians a huge favor and puts in standard cause and correction, but hopefully you can see you don't really want 70 or 80 of them here. You probably want to keep it down to probably 12, which would fit nicely into this screen. But bottom line, if you exceed it, you'll have up and down arrows that can knock it out to their heart's content. To change it, they hit it, and of course they can add to it. What the heck is my cause, my correction? Cause and correction, these other 2 boxes. If you had another technician working on the same job, then you would see whatever he typed in here. This is for me. I'm the technician logged in. This is for the other technician that was logged in. Hopefully, your config is set that they cannot click on complete unless there is a cause and correction in here. But again, I got to this screen by clicking job complete. If I click OK, that job is sitting up here. It has incremented my numbers down here appropriately. I can see every job I've completed for the day at midnight. This all goes away. They can only see today's completed jobs. So if they want to see it, do a screen print. Do it before they go home. We talked about this earlier. They type in the work order, which is the most prevalent way that is used. Anything that is, and actually in the kiosk view, right now that's scheduled to Reggie. I click on that one. Do it again. If I click on that one, again, this is security. If I click on that one more time, okay, if I double click. Labor code has been assigned, or that job has been assigned to Reggie. I click on yes. And it allows me to clock into the job. So I now removed, as a technician, again, that's security-based, I removed that technician, Reggie, and I'm working on that job for him. But the main thing about that is Reggie said, can you help me on that job? I did not have to stop work. I could just go ahead and do it. What else is here? It's not allowing me to do that because I'm already clocked into something. Go ahead and pause it. So that one is if you know the work order number. If you don't know the work order number, then you can search by customer. If you know the customer number, you can search by stock number. But all of them, like tag number, X, Y, Z, which we put in earlier. I must not have a job on that one with labor. That will actually, that will only show, this instance will only show jobs with labor associated with it. The scheduler will show jobs with no labor to it, but this routine will only show jobs that labor has been, excuse me, labor has been assigned to the job. This is your punch in, punch out. Currently I'm punched in. If I try to clock into a job, if I am locked into a job, but I don't care, I want to punch out, the system will say, hey, Jack, you're clocked into a job. Select OK to pause the job and then punch out, or cancel and you punch out yourself. So if I click OK, that's going to bring up the screen. I do whatever I want to do. And then it'll return to me this screen as punched out at 11:12. They really can't mess anything up. If they forget to click on this, they forget to punch in, and they click on a job, and they hit clock in, it's going to say, hey, Jack, you did not clock in, so I'm punching you at 1:13, and then clock him into the job. So they really can't screw that one up. Print my schedule for the day. If you guys give them a printer, they can print their schedule, which is basically a replica of these stickies. Print my schedule for next day. One thing I didn't show you, let me hit pause on this job. Unfinished. Some shops are going to where they put a printer available to technicians, and but they put a different color paper in it, like light blue or pink or something. And that's kind of their way of going paperless. So they quit giving work orders out to the technicians, and they tell the technicians, hey, if you need a work order for something, click on the job, click on View Work Order, click on View Work Order, and it will bring up the work order and print it out yourself. But it's printed out on blue paper. So anybody walking the shop sees a work order on blue paper, they know it's just a shop copy the tech printed out. It's not the original, in other words. But that is their slow way of going to paperless. And a lot of the stores I've worked with that have done that way migrated from that aspect to where they no longer give out work orders. But you just can't take work orders away from the technicians when you first go to that with somebody, because they get panicky. So I'm not sure where you guys are at with that, if you're still handing out work orders or not. But if you equip a shop with a printer they can print to, and if you equip them with an odd color paper, then you can easily identify that it's just a tech copy and they print it out for whatever reason they wanted to. I'm going to hit exit. I'm going to check off that we have covered the technician screen. We logged in and out of 50,000 jobs on that one. We punched in and out on that job. We converted estimates, and we talked about delivery appointments. We did the service calendar. And so we're down to reporting of the tech efficiency and know what they completed. So the last two items that we should talk about, again, I'll go to service, run service reports. The main report is actually the one I used in the example this morning that most advisors want to run at 10, 2, and 4 every day. And did it come up? There we go. Is this most recent? I'll take it back. I'll go to my favorites. Is this premise time at Bill 1? Forget that. Go to date. That will probably be the number one report that you want, that an advisor wants to run. And this is his premise time, 8 to noon, 1 to 5. This is his actual time on the work order. And then this is all of his charge hours on the work order. And then you have the 3 hours broken in half as far as external warranty and internal. As far as the number one report to run for efficiency's sake, mechanic efficiency, premise time, and build type is the number one report. So, with that being said, I have run out of items to entertain you? Any items I need to recover or anything else to talk about?
I'm pretty good on my end. I don't know about everybody else.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. That's pretty thorough.
Pete, if you can, I don't actually see the agenda for tomorrow. If you could send it to me, I'd appreciate it. And so, if I understand properly, we have one tomorrow, and that's it, or is it tomorrow and Thursday?
Tomorrow and Thursday. It's kind of a repeat of yesterday and today with different people.
Wow. Can I just play the recording for them? Surely, at some point, I will get the. I mean, I like conference calls like this, kind of, but I truly like working with people too. So hopefully, I get to meet you all. Are y'all out of the same office, or am I talking to different
Yeah.
stores?
No, you're all talking in the same place.
All right. Well, hopefully, I get to meet you all. So. Bottom line, okay, so I'm doing the exact same thing tomorrow and Thursday with just a different set of people. The same type of people as far as IT?
Yeah, we're all in the same department, sort of, yeah, for the most part. We're all in the same department. It's the front-end IT people who are getting all the questions of what's going on with IT, with IDS.
Okay.
This is just to give them a better understanding.
Pete's got my email address, and if I would actually be very curious, it would be a very nice thing to eliminate the common questions that you're getting from users.
Yeah.
They eat up your time. So just if you could, whoever the next group is, just kind of encourage them to say, hey, get any questions, make sure you ask him, and maybe he can get rid of a couple.
Yep.
Well, cool. I will, again, download this to an MP3 and then MP4 and then upload it to YouTube. I'll send it to Pete, and I will allow Pete to disperse it as a YouTube video to whoever. And other than that,
okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Appreciate it.
Bye.